Tarot is the vehicle of transmitting ancient knowledge. Initiates know how to order and how to read it. When you order in the correct ways, you can get the story of the creation of humankind, the story of the Holy Family, Cain, Noah, Jesus, Holy Grail. Lots of stories are embedded in tarot according to sorting order. The mysterious blood-tipped, white lance that generally accompanied the Grail was said to be the weapon that pierced the hips of the Fisher King. It was identified with the biblical spear of Longinus, which drew the blood of Jesus. The lance, along with a cup, sword and dish, constituted the Hallows of the Grail Castle. Following Pope Gregory IX's first Catholic Inquisition of 1231, Grail Lore was condemned by the Church. It was not denounced outright as a heresy, but all material related to it was suppressed. As a result, the tradition moved towards underground symbolism, particularly that of the tarot cards. The deck created by Margaret Starbird are fully in accord with the precepts of Grail tradition. The four suits of the tarot's minor arcana, 56 cards, including the court cards, King, Queen, Knight and Page, were the swords, cups, pentacles and batons or wands. These corresponded with the sword, cup, dish and lance of the Grail Hallows. Eventually they became redefined as the spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs that are used today. The spade was originally a blade, the male symbol A, the heart was the chalice of the alternative church, the female symbol V, the diamond was a valuable pentacle disc, also representing a dish or platter of service, and the club, denoting the continuing Davidic lineage, was depicted as the sprouting rod of Jesse. X symbol typically represents the Wheel of Fortune card, which is the 10th card of the major arcana. It symbolizes change, cycles, fate, and the ups and downs of life. The two skulls in pirates make an X, which is the ancient knowledge of equinoxes, which is embedded in lots of X symbols. From the earliest times, the symbols A and V had been used to identify the sacred unity of the bridal chamber. The male blade and female chalice, gender opposites, were brought together, one above the other, in the familiar X sign. This was the original holy sign of the cross, and was used as the mark of baptism and initiation long before the time of Jesus. As confirmed in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it was placed on the foreheads of those who cried for Jerusalem, and was granted at the highest degree of community initiation into the sanctuary. By way of later Roman influence, a new cross was devised, the upright Latin cross of Peter's Church, with its high crosspiece. The esoteric Christians retained their former X, however, perceiving the Latin cross as representative of Roman torture. And so the original X became a sign of heresy in the eyes of Rome. This heretical image has been perpetuated to this day as being associated with flesh and the devil as in X-rated movies. Indeed, its anti-establishment significance has been indoctrinated in schools through the simple process of using X to mean wrong. Even though St. Peter's cross was Latinized, the tradition of his brother Andrew was maintained by the original X, the St. Andrew's cross. Andrew preached around the Black Sea, where he had worked among the Scythians before they began their westward movement to Caledonia. As a result, he later became the patron saint of Scotland, and his cross became the famous national saltire. Rome was not happy about the reappearance of this ancient esoteric device, and a covering story was contrived to the effect that Andrew himself perished on an X-shaped cross. The X in Scotland flag is the memorial of this shape. A compromise cross was later devised, the familiar non-cruciform, non-esoteric, upright-centered cross. This became the cross of St. George, whose cult was brought to the West by the Crusaders. Following the 1864 Geneva Convention, it became the symbol of the International Red Cross Agency, a color reversal of the Swiss flag. The powers of the Pope's inquisitors were increased in 1252, when torture, secret trials, and death by burning were authorized. In Spain, the persecution of heretics was aimed particularly at apostate Jews and Muslims from 1478. Pope Paul III's Roman Inquisition against Protestants began in 1542. The Christians' underground stream retained its identity by way of secret watermarks and outline symbols. Because of its simplicity, the X symbol was widely used, sometimes very openly and cleverly. In Botticelli's Madonna of the Pomegranate, an angel wears a red ribboned X on his chest. In his Madonna of the Book, 1483, Mary wears a red X on her bodice, while the baby Jesus holds 3 miniature golden arrows. These were the esoteric symbols of the 3 shafts of enlightenment, a motif of Hermetic alchemists. The secrets of the tarot were held in the 22 trump cards, the major arcana. The word trump in this context derives from the Old French, trompe, corresponding to the trumpet that figuratively split Peter's church. The trumps have been called the Book of Thoth, an expression of secret wisdom. The Church of Rome condemned the minor suits, but expressly banned the trumps because they were deemed blasphemous. In truth, there was nothing anti-Christian about the playing cards, although they were undoubtedly anti-establishment. The Christianity of the tarot was that of Grail Lore, not that of Catholicism. The fact that gypsies subsequently used the tarot cards for divination was quite incidental to their original purpose, but it was through this secondary use that church propaganda managed to foist an abiding sinister image onto the tarot deck. Modern playing cards retain only one from the tarot deck, the Joker. He is a fool, but, even so, the Joker always wins. His legacy is from 1 Corinthians. The Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore, let no man glory in men. We are fools for Christ's sake. A literary representation of the Joker is apparent in Percival, the simple man who succeeds where the accomplished fail. Other tarot figures have made their mark in the world at large. Not the least of these is the female symbol of justice. She is the star maiden Virgo, with her 2-edged sword and the scales of Libra. The portrayal actually has more to do with discrimination than with justice, showing nature's balance and harmony on the one hand, while the other wields the spike of judicial authority. The original card depicted the tenuous position of the Grail Church against the severity of the Roman Inquisition, and it was known as the Magdalene card. Other cards associated with Mary Magdalene were the Tower, the World, and Strength. In the Grail tradition, the Tower, or the House of God, represented the Magdal Edda, the Tower of the Flock, as in Micah 4:8, and was not unlike a chess game castle, rook. Being struck by lightning, or otherwise mysteriously assaulted, it symbolized the plight of the esoteric church against the merciless Roman establishment. The spirit of Mary was also manifest in the world. Standing or dancing within an oval wreath, and either naked or clothed, the woman held a scepter or other mark of sovereignty. Some cards showed her above an encircled landscape. The portrayal was similar to the soaring, hair-enveloped Magdalene, the Sforza Book of Hours of 1490. The Strength card normally depicted a woman in charge of a lion, or supporting a broken pillar. Some cards had both images. The former was the Lion of Judah, and the latter was the Pillar of Boaz, in strength, from Solomon's temple. Either way, the woman was the governess and mainstay of the royal succession. The Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore, let no man glory in men. We are fools for Christ's sake. In some early decks, a Grail design was incorporated within this card, and the woman was identified with Mary Magdalene. The depiction represented the continuation of the Davidic line as in Psalm 89:4. Thy seed will I establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations.